I'm floundering here. Should I call up the phone, pick up the phone and call Monk? Maybe I'll finish the show that way. But I wanted to say a little bit because this conservative guy got me thinking about, and I'm going to call it the cult of individual freedom and liberty. And on a practical sense, you know, there's other people that are so much better at this than I am. It's on both sides. Confederate socialist is like this guy that really thinks this stuff out and goes into excruciating detail. And what he is, he's on the side of the individual. He's very, very anti-state. Now, of course, I call myself citizenkong, so obviously I believe in the system of citizens. I must be a sheep because I believe in some form of a state. And you know, I could listen to Confederate Socialist, but he's not winning me over, you know, because I don't know, in my mind I'm being pragmatic, I'm being practical. I mean, the idea that, and I'm not picking a fight with Confederate Socialists, I'm just giving an example of somebody that can really argue the point, and he's better at it than I am. And I'm not going to argue in favor of believing in a state, or you know. And some of my friends like Buddha, you know, fight for anarchy. You know, some of the anarchists are really great, thinking nice people. You know, and I get confused. You know, I don't want to talk about all this. Why am I talking about this? It just occurred to me because this conservative was saying all this stuff about, you know, if people are bad off, you know, that's their own fault. And to me, the notion is humanity would have not got anywhere with that attitude. Is you form groups, you form alliances, because not one person can do everything, okay? I'm a metalsmith, but I'm terrible at being a bookkeeper. I'm not a good cook. And so if I was in a little small village and I set up my little blacksmithing area, people would come to me and I could trade my services. You know, somebody could bring me something to eat because I'm a terrible farmer, you know, because I'm too busy smithing all day. All right? That's just so simple. And this is even before money came along. All right? The idea that you're fine on your own, fuck everybody else. You know, it's these same people that are using the roads and the buildings where people got together as a team and worked together. And on a larger scale, our country is called the United States. The United States. What does united mean? To come together as a group. Yes, and you know, states' rights, people argue states' rights when it suits their own agenda. I'll argue states' rights when the medical marijuana issue comes up, you know. But when it comes to health care, I don't think the states should be on their own, each state having their own thing, because like I told someone, I do care if there's kids that are starving in Kentucky or dying of polio. I do care. Oh, and he asked me not to keep mentioning him, okay, to pump up his channel or whatever. Not that he really cares whether he has subscribers or not. But he made a good point, and he's the pastor of my church was somebody that had polio but survived it. But the one half of his body, his arm was limp. I mean, it could barely function, and you could see it was atrophied. He could sort of use it, he could sort of lift it, but he couldn't so his body sort of hung to one side. And his arm and shoulders, and maybe his leg was affected a little bit. But he was from a generation, and he grew up poor in Texas. And you know, he told stories in our services about you know, getting help from charity, you know, getting free clothes, and being picked on school because the way they ran the system in Texas was because it was I guess a private, it wasn't any sort of government program, or it might have been a government program. I think it was a privately funded thing. But the clothes that they gave out were clearly, you were marked. You were marked as a poor kid because everybody knew what those clothes looked like, you know. And so I don't know, you know? And I mean, this was a Pentecostal, basically, probably in many ways, social conservative, but he himself had stories about being, you know, on the dole or, you know, being poor. What was my point? Well, he had polio. And the people that are scaring up the conspiracy stuff about the swine flu is inoculation is you know, don't do it, or don't inoculate your kids. And I'm not going to name names, but my friend, you are a very practical person. You're on the same page as I am on many things. And because you're older, you've seen a few things. You talked a little bit about the warrior class. I agreed with that. I don't come from a warrior class. The last person in my immediate family was my great-great-grandfather who fought in the Civil War. But as far as the weapons developing class, yeah. My dad and all his brothers were people that helped design things that kill people. And I've talked about this before. My interest in smithing, who knows? I don't think I came from a warrior class. I'm not a big, you know, warrior type person. But if there's such a thing as reincarnation or ancestral memory, I think my ancestors made, in a past life, I made swords, chainmail, you know, things that the warrior would come to me for his tools or for his weaponry. And everybody has their place, you know, and it's so nice when you find your place, you know, where you belong. Right now I'm in limbo. I don't know where I belong. I don't know what to do. Hey!